In this video, we will be converting a decimal percentage to a fraction. Okay, so our first problem we have 27.5%. So how I'm going to change this to a fraction is I'm going to take the 27.5 and instead of having a percent, I'm going to divide it by 100%, per 100. Okay, so if I do this, and I'm going to do this without a calculator, what I do is I move the decimal place over one time on the top and bottom. So since there's not enough, I'll put a 0.0 here. And I'm going to slide this decimal place over one space on the top and bottom. And you could also look at that as multiplying the top and bottom by 10. It gives you the same result. So it's going to be 275 divided by 1,000. Okay, and now I want to reduce that. Okay, so I want to see what do they have in common. Looks like they have 5 in common, maybe even 25 in common. See, yeah, it should be 25 in common. So let's divide the top and bottom by 25. The reason I know that 25 goes into both of these is because this is 1,000. So if 25 goes into 100, it has to go into 1,000. And 25 goes into this because it ends in 75. All right, like 75 cents, 3/4 makes 75 cents. So I know it's divisible by 25 as well. Okay, so when I do that, let's see how many times does 25 go into 275. So 25, 50, 75, 100, 125, 150, 175, 200, 275, or 225, 250, and then one more, so that is 11 on top. So 25 goes in there 11 times, and if you have a calculator, you can also do it that way. So let's do it that way to confirm. 275 divided by 25, and you do get 11. Okay, and then on the top, we know 25 goes into 104 times. So 25 has to go into 1,040 times. Okay, and if you do that in the calculator, let me show you. 1,000 divided by 25. Okay, so that's 40. And 11 and 40 have nothing more in common. So you can't go any farther with those. You could also have done this. Let me do it slightly different. 275 divided by 5, and then divide by 5 again would get you 11. So instead of dividing by 25, you could have divided by 5 twice, and it would have went to 55 and then to 11. And then on the bottom, the same thing, 1,000 divided by 5 is 200, and divided by 5 again is 40. So you get 40 on bottom, so 11 over 40. All right, let's try the next one. So we want to write 0.35 as a fraction, 35% as a fraction. So instead of percent, I'm going to put 100 on the bottom. Okay, that's what percent means for every 100. Okay, so I want to move my decimal. I'm going to have to move it twice this time to get this a whole number on top. Okay, so I'll move it twice on top and on bottom. You could also multiply it by 100. That gets you the same place. Okay, so that's going to be 35 on top, and it looks like 10,000 on bottom. Okay, and I can show you what I mean by multiplying by 100. So 0.35 times 100 gives you 35, and 100 times 100 gives you 10,000. So same as moving the decimal places over twice is the same as multiplying the top and bottom by 100. Okay, so now it looks like we need to reduce. 5 should go into both of those. So let's divide by 5 on top and on bottom. Okay, 5 goes into 35 7 times. Okay, 5 goes into 120 times, which means it goes into 2,000 or 1,200 times, which means it goes into 10,000 2,000 times. Okay, so 2,000. So 10,000 divided by 5 is 2,000, and you can confirm that in your calculator real quick. 10,000 divided by 5. Okay, so you get 2,000, and 7 is prime, and 7 does not go into 2,000. You can check that here. Let's divide that 2,000 by 7. It gives you a decimal. So that is reduced as it can get right there. Okay, let's look at the next one. So write 7.25 as a fraction. So 7.25%, but I'm going to write over 100 instead of writing the percent. I'm going to move the decimal twice on top. So it's going to be 725 if I move the decimal twice. On bottom, let's put a couple decimals here so I can move it over as well. it will be 10,000. Okay. Looks like this is another one that 5 will go into twice or 25 will go into. So let's divide by 25. I'm just going to do this one in the calculator. 725 divided by 5 gives you 145. I forgot to do the little divide by 5 here. Okay, so that equals 145 on top. And on bottom, 10,000 divided by 5 is 2,000. Okay, so 2,000 there. It looks like both of them can again be divided by 5. So let's do that. Divide by 5 again. And you could have just done one division by 25. That would have worked too. So let's see what we got. 145 divided by 5 is 29. Keep in mind 29 is a prime number. So the only thing that goes into 29 evenly is 29 and 1. Okay, let's divide the 2,000 by 5. And that gives us 400. Okay, so unless 29 goes into 400, this thing can't be reduced. So let's see if 400 divided by 29 gives us a whole number answer. No, it does not. So this is our reduced fraction. Okay, let's do one more. Okay, so we've got 40.5 as a fraction. Instead of 40.5%, I'm going to write 100 on bottom. Okay, I will move the decimal place once, so it will become 405. If I move that once, and on the bottom, move it once, it becomes 1,000. Okay, let's divide this by 5. They both end in either a 5 or a 0, so I know 5 works. Divide by 5, divide by 5. Okay, so 405 divided by 5 gives us 81. And then 1,000 divided by 5 gives us 200. Okay, so is there anything else that can go into both of these? Not sure. Let's look at the 81. What numbers go into 81? 81 is divisible by 1, of course. 2 is not. 3 goes into it. 3 goes in 27 times. 4, 5, 6. We have 9 goes into it. Let's see. 27 goes into it. Okay, and that looks like that's about it. Okay, so does any of these numbers divide evenly into 200? Remember, 200's even. These things are all odd. Doesn't mean it won't work, but just keep that in mind. I don't think any of those numbers are going to go evenly into this. So let's try real quick. Divide by 3. That doesn't go in evenly. 200 divided by 9. That doesn't go in evenly. And 200 divided by 27 also doesn't go in evenly. So this is the final answer. It's as reduced as you can get it. And here's one little trick on the calculator. If you have this particular calculator, watch this. If I type in 81 over 200, hit enter, it's going to give me a decimal answer. I can hit this math button right here. And the first thing says convert to a fraction. I'll hit enter. So it's going to convert this 0.405 into a fraction. I hit enter and it gives me 81 over 200. That confirms that this is reduced as it can get, because your calculator will always give you, when you do this, the most reduced form of that fraction. And that's it.